We are approaching, I guess it's going to be October, that Ottawa City Council is going to have...
I was like, Matt, we're in January.
I don't know what to...
well into January.
I don't know how to tell you. October's going to come. It's
Really?
It's approaching. It sounds like it'll be October when we hear whether Ottawa City Council is going to give the final go-ahead on Lansdowne 2.0, which is a term I'm just so incredibly sick of that we've been hearing for so long. But the idea of it, as a sports fan, I'm pretty excited about. I don't live in the glebe. I don't have to care about those people. I kind of like what they're looking at doing here. And we did see some reporting this week from 3 Down Nation about what this would mean as far as sports fan goes, sports experiences go, the renovations to the TD Place Stadium and the hockey arena. Well, the arena won't be a renovation as much as a implosion, but that's slightly different. We've heard bits and pieces of this before, but I think this is the first time I've ever seen it quite so well rounded out. Here's how it will play out. Here's what you'll be left with afterwards. It's going to take years, obviously, to get done, but at the end of it, you'll be left with a north stand with no roof. That's got some people upset.
Oh, what are the Northsiders going to sit on their high horse with now?
The arena, which is underneath one of the stands, is now going to be in the east end zone. That opens up some interesting opportunities that were being reported on, not just for, the in-arena hockey experience, but what you can do with that structure in the east end zone in terms of having some suites that have overlooking balconies and field level. They didn't call those suites, but they are essentially, going to be private suites. They also went out of their way to mention that they are going to try their best to maintain sort of those bridge areas at the east and west end zones where people like to kind of hang out and avoid their seats. I got to be honest with you, the last couple times I've been to Red Blacks games, didn't spend a lot of time in my seat. I was off standing in different places. Kind of cool vibe to just hang out. Nice place to spend an evening. But this is going to take some time. It's going to cost some money. When you saw the reporting, I know you're a Red Blacks season ticket holder. I know you're down at TD Place Arena very often for the PWHL. Whether or not you're in favor of it politically, if it's going ahead, are you happy and in favor of what they have proposed as someone who's going to spend some time there?
Yeah, I'm coming at this from a fan perspective. I don't really know the background of it politically, if I'm being honest.
No,
so I'll leave that aside.
We're just a couple of hockey and football fans. And
I'm a big old dum-dum. I do not understand politics. No, but yeah, I obviously, as a season ticket holder and someone who covers the Charge, I spend a lot of time there, and all due respect to the arena and the Northside stands, it's old, right? I am embarrassed to admit that I sit on the north side. Although I am a Southsider at heart.
Yeah.
No, I think they called it functionally. Oh my God, what was the word they used? Functionally.
I can't remember.
Oh, it was basically not
condemned.
Usable anymore.
Yeah.
So it needs clearly it needs to be updated. My biggest concern when this originally started happening, and I think that the difference in seats was much more stark than it is now, but they were taking the arena from about, I think it's 8,600 right now, in and around there, to it's going to go down to 6,500.
Yes.
Which I thought it was going down to 3,000.
Oh,
so
wow, yeah.
I don't know if that was, maybe I read something wrong or if that was originally the plan, but 6,500 is not that much of a step down. Am I a little upset that Ottawa the Charge won't get to sell?
Right.
Because I'd say they're probably averaging in and around 8,000 right now.
Well, 6,500 is big for the OHL, and they weren't routinely opening up the full thing for the OHL until the PWHL burst back in. And I remember before that first game, the story kept being, they're going to have to open up some seats. Oh, they're going to actually have to open up this level they don't normally open. Oh, they're going, and all of a sudden, you're at 8,300, which the arena hadn't done in a decade at that point.
And it kind of upsets me that we're not the Charge should have a trajectory to grow right, and instead we're taking
have to go to
seats
the new
away.
NHL building, right?
And I think that's kind of the plan, right? I would imagine that probably when LeBreton gets done, the Charge hopefully at that point are in such a position that they can go and play in that arena.
Right.
And I was talking to Kenny Walls about this, and he brought up a great point. sometimes creating scarcity makes the ticket hotter, and we're certainly seeing that in Toronto, right? Like they started in I think it was a 2,500 seat stadium. Now they're at Coca-Cola Coliseum, which I think is in and around 6,000.
Yep.
And they're the hottest ticket in town. Like I was listening to the Steve Dangle podcast a few weeks ago, and someone said like, why aren't you going to a Scepters game? And they're like, we can't get tickets.
It's hard. It's hard
like
to get tickets.
It's a hot ticket item.
Yes.
I don't want tickets to the Charge games to be inaccessible.
No.
I think one of the selling points right now that I always tell people is like, it's an affordable night out for your family.
Yeah.
So I'd like that to, as long as that isn't impacted. And again, we're looking at the future of the Charge and that they're likely going to grow into hopefully the LeBreton Arena. I'm less concerned about it. But yeah, like from a fan standpoint, like also from a media standpoint, like that arena needs to be updated.
Oh, yeah.
Like we don't even have a dedicated media space.
Right.
It's not their fault. Like they're doing what they can with the arena that they're given. But like, having a press box that we could go sit in would be nice. And having
Shreds doesn't want to hang out with you rubes.
No, I want to. I wish we were. But the seats are also super close together,
Yes.
and like it's an old arena, and like it needs some updating, and so do the north side stands. And I think it would be nice. I don't know exactly what the north side stands are supposed to look like in this Lansdowne 2.0, but like I've always loved the south side for the fact that you can stand around, you can stand in the concourse and watch the game, and I think that makes it a more social experience.
Yeah.
Northsiders will snobbily say, well, we're there to watch the game. But yeah, I'd love to see what you do when you have a concourse to stand in that isn't a brick wall with a small door.
It's a tough time to be having this discussion, though, because for the last several years, essentially any Red Blacks game, you just knew it's raining. It's going to rain. Like, yeah, forget the product on the field, which is going to make it extra miserable.
Yeah.
But like, oh, it's going to rain. And on the north side, at least we have this roof. Now, there was some talk that they would leave it in a place where they could add a roof later, like this wouldn't, if the money was there or you decided afterwards you wanted to have it or needed to have it. But, there are stadiums all across North America where you're, exposed to the elements and, Buffalo Bills, maybe who chief amongst them, like it's part of the experience. It's cold and it's snowy, and those people hang their hat on that. This is what it is to be a sports fan in this market, and we think the rest of you are soft, right? We can handle it. So you can build that, right? Now, I'm not sure that people who are used to living or sitting on the north side have that reputation. They want to be coddled a little bit, I think, is traditionally.
You're gonna have some Northsiders coming at me for this one.
But it's cool to see. Like, as a sports fan who doesn't live in the glebe, where, like, I get it. They get a little uptight about the noise and the this and the that.
Do they like to complain?
They do a little bit.
And when this construction project is going to go swimmingly.
It'll be a little loud. Yeah.
Oh, God.
As someone who grew up around, a construction company, it's loud.
It's loud.
The glebe, not going to love it because this is going to take years to complete. Not just building, but we're imploding things. We're taking things down.
Oh, man.
It's going to be frankly awesome as someone who lives nowhere near. But for a couple of years on the Red Black side of it, the north side stands won't exist. They got to bring stuff down, tear it out, rebuild. And, they're going to do their best to put in seats where they can, maybe more in the end zones like they did when the Grey Cup was here. You're going to have the arena finished on the other end. So those suites I mentioned a little while ago with a couple of rows or whatever that's going to look like if seats will be there. They're going to do their best, but there will be 2 seasons of Red Blacks football where it's going to look a little odd, like maybe lawn chairs on the north side for a couple of months at some point.
That's my main question is like, A, what do Red Blacks games look like while this is going on? And B, where do the Charge play?
Right.
Like that, are they going to make them go out to the CTC?
I guess so.
That would suck.
I don't know where else there's nothing else in town even close.
There's no other options.
I guess Gatineau?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Slush Puppy.
Slush Puppy, let's go.
I guess would be the only other option, right?
Yeah, you know what? I did hear someone mention that, and like at least it'd be closer. Because that's my main thing is like,
what's best for Shreds?
What's best for me personally? Because
Canada's got to be better for you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I worry, like, I know not everyone wants to make that.
Ask the 67s how it was to play at CTC for a year. Yeah. The crowd did not travel.
No. And I'm hoping that this fan base would, but again, like it's for every game, I don't know. I think that one of the main selling points,
Well, especially if you're already a Sens fan too. Like, how many times am I
that's just
prepared to
it.
do this per week or whatever? And
and it's such a
snowing
selling
and
point
it's
right
like-
now of it being so central, right?
It's awesome.
It's so
and
great.
the building being old too, and the fact that you do have, frankly, more women and more kids creates a louder
Oh yeah,
vibe that you would lose for a while at the CT until you build up that audience, right? Or that crowd. So, but I honestly, reading the article on 3 Down Nation, I got pretty excited, like at what they have planned to do down there. Modernize a whole new arena, modernize the football stadium. Yeah, it's going to take some time. I think they said if they got the go ahead in October, it would roll through 27 and 28 would be the last part of it where the Red Blacks were displaced. So we're talking about several years here to get this done. But on the other side of it, you have this entire new sports complex on top of all the bars and stores and everything that have already opened up down there since they've revitalized the area, and all of it perfectly central for everything. I'm pretty excited by it if they get this get the go ahead.
yeah. No, it definitely sounds like. I mean, it's gonna happen. Has to happen eventually, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to update the stands at some point.
Yes. That's dilapidated. I'd call it a handyman's dream.